Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Always wanted to start one of my videos that way. Hey guys, it's Levi between two lines. Finishing up the year. It's been quite a year. I was in the YouTube studio on my computer and can see that the first video was almost exactly 1 year ago. I think it was like 368 days or something from today. So, and that was kind of made me realize, hey, I need to put together a video kind of wrapping up the year. Share some thoughts on where I'm at, what my headspace is, and what you can expect moving forward from the channel, and some things we've got going on, or some things I've got going on. But I wanted to let y'all know that, yeah, I put together some videos that I think are funny about diabetes, and I'll put them out there. But then as you notice, if you're a subscriber of the channel, in between I'll be putting videos on particular topics or things that I've done a terrible job at to help you avoid, or drop some knowledge on a subject that I've researched a little more in depth, and trying to provide some tools for being a diabetic. But I get a lot of those ideas from you guys. I get the emails you send, I read them all. And a lot of them will be like, hey, what do you do for this? Or what do you suggest for that? Or can you make a video on such and such? And then if there's kind of a theme to the comments, there's a couple of them that come together, I'll make a video on it. And I want to say thanks for that, because you'd be surprised how often or how much difficulty I have deciding what to make the videos on. One thing that's been coming through the emails a bunch is, hey, man, make a video of you just doing something not diabetes related. Today, we're going to do that. I'm changing the oil on my car. So I'm gonna change the oil as I'm talking, and I'm sharing some things about the channel, and some. I need some feedback from y'all on the upcoming video. I'm gonna take feedback from the viewers to plan out a 2020 and review all the highlights from the channel, what your favorite moments were. But let's dive right into it. Okay, so let's start with the obvious. I'm changing the oil on my car. I like changing my own oil. Partly because I don't think anybody takes as much pride in my vehicle as I do, so I will do a better job. But the other reason is because to me it's very therapeutic. I like coming out here, getting in the shop in the summertime, breaking a big sweat, and then in the wintertime, just being out here busting my knuckles somehow is a great way to start my week, and I feel like it kind of, you can kind of vent out some of your frustrations. So that's what I'm doing today. I drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's an Overland edition. It has a Hemi motor in it, which, if you're not a car person, that's fine. It just means it's a V8. It's a bigger motor. It takes more oil. So I went and purchased the oil. It's behind me. I've got an oil filter. And then I had an oil pressure sensor that needs replacing that I'm going to take care of today as well. So I'll knock out this oil change and also give you some updates on me as we go. So from an oil change perspective, if you guys don't work on your own car, I love it. I love it. If there's something I can do on the car myself versus taking it to a shop, I'll always do it. But on an oil change, it's relatively simple. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to change your own oil, but it helps to not be an idiot and follow the correct procedure. The gist of it is, there's oil in the motor, and it needs to be changed at certain intervals. So what first you must do is drain the old oil out. Once it's all drained out of the car, we're going to change the oil filter, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a filter that filters debris and contaminants out of the oil. And we'll put a new one on, tighten it up, close the bottom of the engine where all the oil just drained out. There's a plug. And then we will fill the engine back up with the appropriate amount of oil, put the top back on, reset the sensor on the dash so it calculates when you need your oil change, and that'll be it. First things first, you'll put your oil pan under the car, which I'm getting ready to do. That way when I undo that plug on the bottom of the engine, all the oil doesn't just spill out onto the garage floor, which would be a nightmare. And then the second thing I'll do is come up here and unscrew the oil refill cap. The reason you do that, if you've never done this, is you undo that plug on the bottom, but don't take the cap off the top. It's a lot like holding your finger on a straw. When you take the cap off the top, take your finger off the straw and all the oil will drain out quicker. It's a lot faster. So first things first, let's get the tub under the car. When you pull that thing out, oil immediately comes out. So you want to have your drain pan in place. And I think on my vehicle, if I recall correctly, it's a 14 millimeter. But I'm gonna crawl under there, put the drain pan in place, remove the drain plug, try to pull it out quickly so oil doesn't just spill all down your arm. And it's a good time to point out, I always do it when the engine's cold. If you do it when the engine's piping hot and you're too slow and that oil spills down your hand, you'll start speaking another language when that hot oil hits your skin. And it chomps, because I've done it. So I'm doing it with a cold engine today, so it shouldn't have any problems other than getting my jacket dirty. All right, so this is exactly why you should change your own oil. Exactly what I was just talking about. All right, so the guy who changed your oil last at the dealership completely rounded off the drain plug, which if you don't know about cars, this is the bolt that goes in the bottom of your engine. This part's tool, but this is the bolt. It screws into the bottom, has a little washer on it, and holds the oil in on the car. And so you unscrew this, whoop, all the oil pours out. But if you use the wrong tool or improper methods, it's a hexagon shaped bolt. You can round off the corners so now they're smooth and none of the tool will grip it. So I had to think outside of the box. I had to take this slightly smaller one, hammer it on to the bolt that's now all jacked up, and then take an air tool and zip it off, which ruined it. And now it's stuck on this, which shouldn't be a problem. Should be able to get that one off. I'll deal with it later. But I'm gonna have to get a new one now to replace it. And underneath the car right now, there's big oil dripping. You can kind of hear it. It's almost done now. All the oil is pouring out of the car. So once it drains completely, I'm gonna get under there, undo the oil filter, replace it with a new one. We'll go through that. So diabetes talk. Yesterday at work, I work in finance, and so I get to work this morning. I had changed my side on my pump to right about here, and get to work, turning in my chair, and all of a sudden I feel a pain. And it's that really familiar pain when your sight rips out. And it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I had the whole day to go with no insulin now. So yesterday was a terrible day. I essentially just had to not eat. And you have to have the discipline not to eat anything for the rest of the day to keep my blood sugar. You know, it was up around 200, and it just sat around 200 for 3 or 4 hours and then just slowly started coming down. But I didn't get to eat, so. And I do not like not getting to eat. Also, since the last video, or maybe one of the last couple, I shaved my beard. It's scruffy right now, but I shaved it all down except for I had a mustache. I had a mustache for about 2 weeks. And let me tell you, there's a lot you can learn about yourself with a mustache. First is the amount of confidence that is required to wear a mustache. And I underestimated that, because it's easy to think in your head, oh, it'll be funny, the guys will think it's funny, you know, whatever. You go to class, you wear it, you go to work, but you have that thing on your face everywhere you go. And so when you're trying to be professional at work, you have a mustache. So the second thing you should know if you're a guy considering a mustache, because let's face it, they are kind of coming back in style. The second thing was that you get a lot of compliments, and I mean a lot, but every one of those compliments is from a guy. They are not from women. Women, most of them, do not like the mustache. My wife would stand in the front of that line of women who hate mustaches. And so that was the third thing I had to deal with. You know, guys' law was awesome. Every guy you run to is like, oh my goodness, that's a cool mustache, bro. I wish I could wear a mustache, or wish my wife would let me. Well, mine really didn't. So that was the third part about having the mustache, is that it was the constant griping about the mustache, that it was just absolutely hideous. Having a cookie duster and a little broom mustache for like 2 weeks. So it's gone. But if you're considering a mustache, be warned. All right, so I'm gonna take a break. Most of the oil is drained out, nearly all of it. So I'm gonna go in here and change this oil filter, put the new plug back in, and I'll be back. One thing to point out before I go in here and do this is, this is what it looks like, by the way, at least on my vehicle. They're different shapes and sizes, but it's got threads on it, if you can see that. So it'll screw in, and it's got a little rubber gasket. It'll seal. You always want to dip your finger in some of the old oil and spread it around that gasket to help get it sealed and lubricated correctly. Then you're gonna screw it back on the car. So now we're gonna put new oil back in the car. While I'm doing that, out of all the videos we did this year, I don't know why I keep saying we. There's no mouse in my pocket, it is just me. But so what do you think? Out of all the videos, comment below what's your favorite clip was out of them, because I'm going to put together a highlight reel of this year, because it's been a pretty cool year. So I'm going to put together a highlight of the moments y'all like the best. It doesn't have to be from a funny video, but from whether it's from a humorous video or a moment you liked in a serious video. Leave a comment below what your favorite moment of the year was, and I'm going to put together a montage of 2020 on Between Two Lines. So what I will choose based off of my personality be a lot different than what you guys probably would choose. Some of the moments I think are the funniest are actually just absolutely stupid. Also, if you change your own oil, notice the bottles of oil are always shaped a certain way. The spout's on one side, and there's a reason for that. Don't pour like this, pour like this. If you pour with the spout on the bottom, all the oil's trying to come out while you pour, and it's gluck, 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 gluck. Air's trying to get into it, and it makes it unpredictable. It spills on the motor. If you pour this way, it's much easier for the air to get in, and you get a smoother pour, which will keep you from making a mess when you're pouring the oil back into your car. You make a mess all over the motor, it's gonna stink, it's gonna smoke, you're gonna think you did something horribly wrong, and it's just because you made a mess. I put the big one in first because I know my engine takes just under 7 quarts, and then when you're done, you're gonna take your old oil from that drain pan that's just sitting down there, it's a big wide cup, and pour it back into that empty bottle. That way you can go dispose of it properly. Because you're not allowed to throw that stuff in the trash. Don't try throwing it in your trash or in your apartment complex dumpster. That is illegal. You have to dispose of it properly. If you take it in the auto parts store like an O'Reilly's or an AutoZone or something like that, they'll take it at no charge. Now, I don't know if you can see this. I'll hold it up a little. See how the stream is bouncing around? That's what happens if you pour it upside down. If you turn it the correct way, it's a lot easier to get a smooth pour. The air can get into the bottle, keep you from making a mess. So that's quart number 6. What you're supposed to do if you haven't done it before is start a little light. Maybe, if your car takes 4 quarts, put it in 3.5, start the engine, let the engine run, move the oil around, turn the engine off, and then check your oil, and then add as needed. Because here's the thing, you can always add more oil, but you can't take it out. You can't take it out once you put it in, unless you take it all out. Now, 19-year-old me tried this once. Put in too much. I was in a dorm parking lot in college. So I'll get under the car with the oil pan and unscrew the drain plug, pull it out for a second, put it back in real fast, and have let some oil out. In case you were thinking about trying that, or you find yourself in that situation, it doesn't quite work like that. You pull that oil out, now all the oil's coming out. You try to put that plug, and oil goes everywhere, and it's an absolute disaster. The oil ended up knocking the plug out of my hand. All the oil was all over the asphalt and the middle of the parking lot. So yes, I've done stupid stuff, not just limited to diabetes. All right, so there you have it. I have done something stupid for you guys by request. So that was me changing my oil. Talked a little bit about the channel, but to reiterate, please leave in a comment what your favorite moment was from the year, because I'm going to use that to make a collage for the end of the year video. And thank you for being a support. If you subscribe, thanks a lot. If you haven't subscribed and you like what you've seen on different videos, not counting this one, subscribe to the channel, and I'll continue to put out good diabetes content. I've got a couple collaborations in works, which is exciting, and I'm excited to share those when the time is right. And I've been making some special videos for them. A lot of them have to do with the blood sugar character I've kind of come up with. So I'm really excited about that. That'll be a next year kind of thing. In the meantime, you'll have a happy holidays. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Take care of your blood sugar. Y'all know me. I'm not gonna be the one to tell you you can't eat something. Just moderation is key. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.